All right, we are going to talk with Hamlet and Ophelia. Here in just a couple of moments, we've got our stars of our next performance at the Twin Lakes Playhouse getting ready to come up here and talk about what's going on. I am really looking forward to this performance, and I'm really looking forward to finding out a little bit of the behind-the-scenes information that I'm sure my new guests will be able to inform me of. And I'm trying right now to stall a little bit of time. Yeah, the automation system's just not working like it's supposed to. Here we go. Yeah, there it is. It's all working now. I need to tell you that you're listening to the morning show this morning, brought to you by your friends over at AR Ship. If you have Medicare questions, give them a call. They have Medicare answers. You can reach them at 1-800-224-6330. You're listening to the morning show this morning on KRZP 92.7. It's time for our bottom of the hour break. We'll be back with more here in just a little bit. And we are back in the morning show, Mountain Home Radio. Hope your Wednesday is off to a great start so far. Beautiful weather outside. We've got a whole another week of spring in front of us. I am looking forward to that. That's going to lead us right into next week when we have the opening over at the Twin Lakes Playhouse of their next performance, and it is going to be Hamlet up on the stage. I've got Rebecca Riley and McKoy Dobbs in the studio this morning. First time in the studio for both of you. Welcome. Good morning.
Oh, thank you.
And you're going to have to, McKoy, you're going to have to get up on that microphone just a little bit. I am really looking forward to seeing Hamlet. I've talked with a few people over there at the Playhouse, and I've told you both this morning, I have never gotten to see Hamlet performed on the stage. And well, I am really looking forward to this one. It's going to be a great performance. And one of the questions I asked, and I asked it, I hope jokingly, is how much of Ye Olde King's English is going to be in this? And I need to start off there. The Bard wrote some great stuff, but unfortunately the English that they spoke around 1600 is not quite the same as our English today. Just a little different?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure. It makes it a bit harder on us because then you have to really show the audience like why the characters are doing what they're doing. You have to really express all of that so that it's way easier for them to understand. And it helps because for this play, we actually cut it in half. Like Olivia was awesome with that.
Yep.
So it will be a lot more manageable for the audience.
I did once upon a time have to do a report on Hamlet, and I'll be quite honest, I cheated. I read the Cliff Notes version and wrote a really, really pathetic report. One thing I did discover is, well, sometime after that I started to read the actual script of Hamlet, and it's like, wow, that was a whole lot different than the Cliff Notes.
Oh, yeah.
For somebody that has never been to the Playhouse before, I think this is going to be a great opportunity for them to take their first peek inside. You guys have a pretty cozy environment over there.
Very. It is so homey.
And I think that's great because you guys are not quite close enough to reach out and touch on the stage, but you are able to interact with us out there in the audience.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty important part of this performance. Now, that said, I do know that Hamlet is not necessarily interactive, but there is some stuff where you're specifically addressing the audience just because of the way that the play is written. So that's going to be a little bit of a moment for you, I'm sure, when you turn out there and look at that audience.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are so many like soliloquies and monologues that are just full on, just alone on stage to the audience.
Yes. And
you're just like, saying something tragic, and they're just listening, just like on the edge of the seat.
Yes.
And it is kind of, very upfront, but it is emotional, and it's a beautiful piece of work.
It is a beautiful piece of work. That much I do know about that. And like I said, I'm really anticipating seeing this on the stage. I'm thinking you guys are going to do a wonderful job. I've been talking with a few folks behind the scenes, and I understand this is going to be one of the larger casts we're going to have involved in this play also.
Yeah, there are a lot of people.
I wish they could see the look on McKoy's face right now. Yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah, we definitely had to double up on dressing rooms and sometimes triple up.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Double stacking in the dressing rooms to get everybody through there.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that is part of the art of theater. So now keep in mind, this was performed live many, many years ago. Keep in mind, these were people performing it basically on a square in a small village sometimes. Yeah, they were having to do the costume changes back on the wagon. So, a little comfier for you guys here today. So, you guys have a couple of very, very daunting roles, in my opinion, for anybody that knows anything about this play. I think I've got two of the more challenging roles. I would think it's safe to do this. And I'm going to kill the headline for the sake of talking with the co-star here for just a second. You're playing Ophelia.
Yes. That came with a lot of baggage. There are so many different ways to interpret her. She's such a complex character, and there's so many versions out there. And I honestly tried to avoid watching all those versions because if I watch something, then I'm like, oh, let's do it that way. I'm like, I don't want that kind of crutch. So I don't know. I had to, and it's weird because the script is cut in half, so that's a different Ophelia than the full-length Ophelia. So I'm like, who is she in this play? And she's such a beloved character and well-known that it's a lot of pressure.
Well, beloved and well-known are two things that they are beloved because they are well-known, and this is not something you can just walk into and, I can just be my own Ophelia. You do have to rely a little bit on how the character is drawn up and some of the interpretations over time. A pretty daunting role. How did you decide that you wanted to even audition for Ophelia?
Honestly, she was the role that I wanted. I had no idea what I was going to get. I honestly didn't even know if I was going to get a part, so I was so nervous. I was really happy when I got it. I love a challenge, and I don't know, I've always loved the character, and I wanted to see how I could do it.
So, Ophelia is somebody you're familiar with, then?
Yes. I love Shakespeare.
Gotcha. Well, hey, there is nothing wrong with that at all. There's still a lot of folks out there to appreciate the Bard. So, I'm loving hearing just some of the stories that have gone on behind the scenes. I've had the privilege to talk to a few folks from the Playhouse, talking about some of the works going on. You guys are really studying hard for this one.
Oh, yeah.
So now, I told you I was going to bury the headline. I'm sorry, it's probably a bad way to put that because I'm going to consider your role in this, and I'm looking at Hamlet right now.
It's your turn. You got this.
Yeah, it's your turn. You're playing the role of Hamlet. That really has to be an undertaking for you. And those that may not be able to understand, you're young in the theater business.
Yeah, I've only been doing theater for about a year.
Yeah.
But I mean, doing Shakespeare's largest character, or
the most renowned character in all of Shakespeare's writings. Yes, just no pressure at all. No small role there at all.
But it is definitely a hard challenge to do. But I'm having so much fun in this show. Well,
that's the first thing you said was fun about this show. So that tells me a whole lot. You don't think about fun in Shakespeare, but you're learning a lot, I'm sure, going through all this.
It's a very mentally challenging with how you have to act, not only physically but the way you say your words as well is because the language is so difficult to understand, you kind of have to act with your emotions more than your words. Yes, but you still have to enunciate your words how you would on a regular stage. But
you have to be a little more crisp in your enunciation when you're speaking in ye old King's English. And I keep saying that phrase. I have no idea where I adopted that from, but somebody was telling me about Shakespeare one time and said it was a great book except for ye old King's English. And well, I can get past that. It is a very, very daunting role though, because so many great performers have done it over time. But you don't want to look at that. You still want to make it your own character.
Yeah, I mean, Hamlet is wild. To say the least.
Yep. But there are a whole range of emotions even in a shortened play.
Yeah. There's the highest of high emotions, the lowest of lows. I mean, Hamlet, this story is a tragedy, but it's also so many other emotions that go on.
Intrigue, suspense. There's a little bit of something for everybody, I believe, in the show. I'm going to turn my attention now over here to Rebecca once again. How long have you been doing theater?
Oh, geez. My first play was when I was maybe 9.
Oh, wow.
So 2009.
Okay. All right. So you've been doing it for a few years.
Yeah, and then I did some in junior high, and then in high school I did 2 plays every year.
Okay.
And then in college I just stopped, and I kind of wish I hadn't, but I'm so glad to be back into it after graduating.
Gotcha.
It feels good to be back on stage.
Well, evidently you found a little bit of a home, and McKoy, I know from you've only been doing this for a year, but I've seen you in a couple performances over there up on the stage already. You may be young, but you've already got some theater chops to your credit.
Yeah.
First time I saw you, you were up on the stage playing a character of characters, as I'm going to put it. We Pigs 3, my grandkids over there for that one, and my granddaughter absolutely fell in love with your particular character.
Yeah, the rapping wolf Ralphie.
Yes.
It was a little weird, but it was still fun.
Well, it was really entertaining from the fan standpoint. Sitting out there in the audience, it was very entertaining to watch that all come off. That was your second, I believe, performance you'd said. I think you said you'd done something earlier.
Yep, I had Mousetrap was my very first play ever. And then after that, I did We Pigs 3. And
so what else have you done since then?
I've done...
you were in Whodunit.
I was in Whodunit.
Yep.
I was in Diary of Anne Frank.
Okay.
And
did not get over there for that one. I'm sorry.
that one was so sad, but
yes.
It was beautiful.
Well, and for those that don't know that story, go out there, read the book, because
Yeah.
the book, you guys did a great job from what I understand. I didn't get to see that one, and it really crushed me that I didn't get to see that one.
Yeah. I mean,
so you've got some experience now then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Done, I think,
Well, that's
7 plays in the past year.
Yeah, I would say 5 or 6 already to your credit, so that's not too awful bad at all. And you guys are coming into this as basically, I hesitate to say the headliners of this show. Is that the accurate way to put that?
I'm definitely Hamlet for sure. He's half the lines in the
show's
play.
named after him. I mean, but Ophelia, you're really important to the whole story.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of lines or even a lot of time on stage, but my character is like so memorable and influential that it makes it seem bigger than sometimes it feels.
Yep. Well, and so that's one of the parts that I'm looking forward to, is seeing how it does adapt down. I really wish I would have read more than the Cliff Notes version of Hamlet.
You got time.
Well, you know, as a struggling high school senior, we all do things that may or may not be creditable at the time, but they're just shady enough to get us through. So it all counts. Well, we've all been there, I think, at some point in time. But I'm really looking forward to seeing this. So you guys are 2 of how many are actually going to be up on the stage? There's 27, I think, 29 in the cast. I think I've